Hello, everybody. Welcome to the stream. I hope you are seeing me live right now. I do not see the says we've got 0 viewers. Oh, there we go. It's updating now. We got a few on Twitch, a few on YouTube. Thank you for joining us. What an auspicious day today. We have a brand new Delia special on the menu for Jokes Explained Live. So exciting. We're going to be doing a little bit of stand-up bingo as well as we watch today. A lot of people in the comments of Grow or Die don't seem to be understanding why this is so funny, why Chris is so funny, which is obviously such a shame because it is. I imagine there's going to be crowd work. I think there's going to be a lot of funny scenes today. What a week it's been. We had Liberation Day on April 2nd. So we've got tariffs flying. Very funny. We've got Russell Brand was just charged with rape, which is crazy because he always, he didn't seem like a rapist at all to me. But then again, I guess we got to let the courts decide. He seems like a very nice Christian man who became very, very Christian over the last couple years. Crazy that these charges would come out now. I don't know what's going to happen with that, but it's, I guess it was illegal to be funny back then. What else have we got on this? I was sick after the Rumble stream. I don't know if it was from watching that much Gutfeld. I've never watched so many Gutfeld monologues in a row, and I don't know if that's what gave me the sickness or if it's just the fact that I was vaccinated when I was a toddler and the vaccines are starting to bubble up. But, I don't know. You guys are on Twitch. Make sure you sign up for the bingo. We'll be running a little bit of bingo. We've got a bingo card where we're going to, if Chris does some standard comedy things like bumps the mic, uses the stool, mentions pee-pee or poo-poo, we're going to be checking off those bingo cards as we go. The boy 69 is crazy. I've been so well informed this week after the Gutfeld monologue. Yes, thank you. I'm so glad. Not only do you learn about the news from the 90s during that monologue, you also, I'm glad I could explain why they're so funny, because Gutfeld gets a lot of flack from the mainstream media. A lot of woke liberals don't say he's very, very funny, but he is very, very funny. Let's check the bingo. Let's see how many people signed up so far. We got 3 players on bingo, 4 viewers on Twitch. That's pretty good. That's almost 100% bingo participation on Twitch. Also, we've got a new overlay. Thank you to Brian for putting this together. We've got our job creators. Those are our beloved super chatters who are helping create this job for me. And we've got our Twitch Bits Cheer leaders down there. Those are our subprime traders who are using the Amazon platform to promote a small business such as myself. Amazon loves small business, and we love Amazon here at the Bachelors of Music. Successful Egg says, "What are we doing here, B?" Great accent. We've got 4 players, 4 people on Twitch. That's pretty much maxed out bingo. I'm gonna let the clock tick down. I want to get to Delia as soon as possible because we got to get this whole special, guys. And I'm recovering from my sickness. So let's take a look at oopsies. Mr. Delia. Oh, whoa! We just bumped up to 13 viewers on Twitch. I'll let the bingo counter tick down a little bit for you guys who want to play. I think we're going to get to all the stand-up points in the next bingo icon in the top right corner of the chat. Thank you, King Shaman, for in the instructions. Okay, Delia, I think we've got the audio on. Chrome audio. Let me know if everything goes crazy. It doesn't sound good or anything. Any technical difficulties, let me know in the chat. Just shame me, and I will fix it. But let's go. Let's take off here. Delia, big bold letters. Everyone thought he was canceled. but he persevered against all odds. Pure hilarity. There he is. Oh, baby. Grow or die. So this is going to be like this is about plants.
Thank you.
First of all, God, he looks cool. He's got a dope-ass loose chain. Chains are good because chains are loose and they let the audience know you're very loose. He's got dope-ass sneakers. Not sure what brand they are. And he's in a theater full of Delia fans, which, like, he's got a standing ovation before he even says anything. Like, that's a dream. Could you imagine being that popular? Holy shit.
Thank you. Okay, thank you. Wow.
More cheers. They're already laughing.
Thank you. I got canceled.
Okay, great joke. I got canceled. Yeah, that's a funny thing to say in front of a big sold-out theater. You're not canceled, Chris. Chris, we love you.
Listen, it wasn't what you read, okay? There's a lot of crazy things out there being said about me that just wasn't true, but that doesn't mean that I didn't make mistakes, okay? I made mistakes, and, it's been 3 years now. I've learned, and I'm learning, and it's a process, but it's been 3 years, and a lot's changed in my life in 3 years. Like 3 years ago, for instance, one of the biggest things that changed in my life was I had my first baby boy. I had my first son.
His first?
Yes. His name is Calvin, and he's cute as shit. He saved my life. No bullshit. I love this motherfucker, all right? He's awesome. He's white, and, yeah, he's white. My son's white. He, he happens to be white, right? Like my...
They already laughed because, it would have been funnier if it was a white girl, because white women are the funniest. But white people are still funny. It's a funny thing to say.
Like, I'm white, my wife's white, and so he came out, that's just science, So, but yeah, my son's white, and it's beautiful. Well, you can't say it like that. It is a weird thing. Like, when recently I said on stage, my son is white, and then there was a white dude in the crowd that goes like this, fuck yeah. Like, ugh,
Uh-oh. Yeah, that's not good, eh? Good impression of the crowd from the previous show. So that's so cool. That's one of the bonuses of when you do a lot of crowd interaction. Sometimes if a crowd member does something funny, you can use that in later shows. So not only does the crowd sometimes do comedy for you, sometimes the crowd can even write bits for your next act for you. It's quite amazing to see comedy automated.
You know what I mean? Now, in this day and age, that's insane. Like, to be like...
Shits on audience. Let's get the... I'm gonna click play on the bingo here. We gotta be going. We got a minute left. That's it. We're done. We got 6 players. Starting the bingo. Yes. And is that shit on audience? I don't know. Yeah, we'll keep it going. We got a lot of time here.
Like, you could be, don't get me wrong, you can be proud to be white, but on the inside, you know what I mean? Like, the second you're like, let's fucking do this, you were storming the Capitol, right? It was January 6th, and you're there, so.
Great laugh at his joke there. So you hear how the crowd responds when he laughs. The crowd loves him so much. They just want to see Chris loving life. When he laughs, they laugh because they just love to see him happy. It's really a heartwarming thing to see. But he mentioned, January 6th and a guy who is excited for a white son to be born would be at January. So January 6th was like a big, it was like a big rally to make comedy legal again that happened 20 years ago.
But yeah, my son's white, okay? And he cries every day. My son cries every day. My son cries every single day. Like, and I didn't know that, but babies cry every day. Babies cry every single day. My son has cried every single day for 3 years.
Every single day.
For 3 years of his life. And it's crazy because over the last 3 years, I've cried every single day, okay? And yeah.
Hey.
Yeah, for different reasons, you know? He's like, I'm hungry. I'm like, I want my fucking career back, asshole. What do you know about pain, man? Eat your Cheerios.
This is what is so funny too. Like, what you guys have to understand is when a comedian gets canceled, right? Like, it's pretty much comedians being canceled. Number 32. Thank you, Brian. That is correct. This is definitely going to be, yeah, we got to check that one off. That was checked off first thing. But what you guys don't understand is when a comedian gets canceled, right? Like, it doesn't, like, it basically means they can no longer do public things generally, or they lose a Netflix show, they lose a podcast, or the media turns against them. It basically means that if they can't do, like, if a comedian can't do comedy as a job anymore, they will likely die. They'll pass away. If a comedian had to do like a job like most people, they would perish. They can't handle it. They have very weak bodies. They can't wake up early in the morning. And so it's really life or death. If a comedian is making $10 million a year and then all of a sudden they get canceled, like, that's pretty much a death sentence. A lot of people don't understand how serious it is to subject a comedian to like a full-time job. Is just impossible. They cannot withstand that.
Your life is chill. You don't even wear pants half the time. You just wear diapers and a Triceratops shirt. That's your outfit. That's a chill outfit. Yeah, man, my son is awesome, dude. He's not that good at talking. I should specify that. Like, he's not that good at talking, but people always say this. He's really good for his age at talking. And honestly, that's not fucking good enough, okay? Like, he needs to get better immediately. Like, it's been 3 years. I know it's only been 3 years, but also it's been 3 fucking years, right? Like, get it together. Like, this is real life. You have to be...
little mid setup giggle there. Just keeping it loose. My kids are annoying. Absolutely, Brian. Thank you for being on it with the bingo. I'm trying to keep everything going. Hard to think about bingo at the same time, but he's hitting a lot of points I've talked about before.
Do you know what I mean? Like, sometimes, honestly, he starts really good, right? Like, he'll come out and he'll be like, "Hey, Dad." And I'll be like, "What's up?" And then he's like, "How do you, Dad, how do you?
Okay, I'll let him finish this bit here.
Fucking pissing, like, dude, it ends with pissing. That's a failure.
Ends with pissing. Good. It's great. It's a great accent, great act out. There is a My Kid Sucks card. We have checked it off already. We knew that was going to happen. Also, we got P, number 69. Perfect. So great accent of the kid. Great act out. Kids sound just like that. If you've met them, it's very funny. His kid is obviously not going to be a comedian, because most children, you can tell they're going to be comedians because they learn to do bits. They can speak philosophy by the time they're 1 year old. Really, comedian children are often quite gifted, and scientists have noted this. So Chris's kid might not be a comedian. He just says he sounds like a regular kid, and then he pees his pants at the end. And peeing the pants is a very funny punchline to that joke, because as we've discussed before, pee pee poo poo, very funny substances. But that are below jizz is still number one. So great, very funny stuff. Great response
I want
from the
him
crowd.
to be way better at talking. Because honestly, he'll start talking and he'll do that shit, and my wife will be like, and I'm like, no, dude, don't encourage that bullshit. That's a failure, okay?
Wacky vibes on that.
It's true,
joke
like,
there.
because sometimes he says like big words. Like the other day, he said the word actually, which is insane. Like you're 3 and you're saying the word actually. Like he did. He said, look, that's actually a chicken, is what he said. And I was like, wow. And then I looked, and it wasn't even a chicken, you know? So that's a fail too, right?
Great eyebrow work. Look at that. He just acknowledges that he's bringing the audience along on these funny scenes with his son. The audience loves Chris. They love his son because then they know there's another Chris. You know, the Chris continues. There will be a Chris to continue the take the burden of being a professional entertainer once his father passes away. Or even when he's still alive.
Yeah, man, but because he's been doing this too. Like he'll say, like sometimes he'll come real confident with it. Like he's been saying this for like 2 or 3 months. He'll look at me and he'll go like this. He'll say, Bardar. And like, no, you know what I mean, right? Like it pisses me off because I want to be like, hey, come on, you know, right? Because I can't do that. Like I can't be like mad at him because that'll fuck him up later on in life, you know? Like but I'm not gonna do what my wife does, which is like, you know, like this. So I find the middle ground and I just look at him and this is what I do. I go like this, huh? I feel like that's good. But then he goes like this, Bardar. Like I'm the fucking asshole. Like go to your room and study and come back with different syllables at least.
Okay.
But yeah, man, my son's a pandemic baby.
Okay, so not only is it like super, super funny to talk about how it takes kids time to learn language, which we've all noticed, and it is absurd to hear them trying words out, but also like it's very he's in front of a crowd that loves him. The crowd loves him a lot. They give him a standing ovation when he comes out. He probably shouldn't be too concerned about their perception of him. But he got a lot of negative media attention for texting underage girls and having a reputation as kind of a predator. And so to open up the show with jokes about having fun with his son, it really establishes him as a relatable, wholesome, fun guy who would never want to lure women. So it's smart. It's a smart way to go about the show. Very expertly crafted comedy, but it also helps shape perception of him, which is super, super smart. Why he's one of the best comedians working today.
You know? I don't want him. I don't know how he's going to grow up. Like, he's only known the world ever since it went to shit. It's hard enough to raise a kid. There's no data on what a pandemic person is going to be like after they're born after 2020. Like, I don't want him growing up to be a fucking weirdo. I don't like it, right? Fuck weirdos. I don't like weirdos. I don't like weirdos at all. As a matter of fact, fuck weirdos, okay?
Fuck weirdos.
I don't like weirdos. Be regular. I can't stand it, dude.
What?
There's that whole notion, too, where people are like...
I thought Chris was a weirdo. I thought he was a wacky weird guy. But I guess he's a normal guy.
Let your
That's
inner
weird.
weirdness shine. Be the real you. Don't be the real you, okay? Be regular.
He's covered in tattoos.
The people with the twisty mustaches! Cut the sides! Go to Austin. Get the fuck out of here, okay?
Location comedy. That's on the bingo card. It's gotta be. That's a great location joke. Austin is full of blue-haired, twisty mustache baristas that moved there from Portland once Portland became too expensive for their mustached lifestyle. Very funny stuff. We don't have location comedy, Dan. That's too bad. That seems like a good one.
I don't like that shit. I don't like weirdos. With the only reason why you should have a twisty mustache is if you're with 3 other people who also have a twisty mustache and you're all singing the same song, okay? That's a barbershop quartet. I don't like people with that mustache because they walk in, whenever they walk in a room, they have that energy where they're just like, oh, is anybody gonna, you know? And you always succumb too. You're like, oh, that's so cool.
Okay, let's take apart that joke there, right? Because there's not a, if you were to take that joke line by line, right, and just read it out, like I do sometimes when I just read the script. He says, you see a guy with a mustache come in, they just have that energy that's like, is anybody gonna? And you're like, no. So line by line, hard to find the humor there. But when you see Chris D'Elia do the act out with the funny voice and the eyebrows, and then he has a big laugh, you're like, this must have been funny. And you just have to laugh, and the crowd laughs. So it's more of a, you just sort of have to imagine the joke that happened yourself in your own mind, and then you laugh because Chris did the same. So very high concept stuff here. Masterful.
It's so cool you got that mustache. Fuck, I said that. I don't like weirdos, man.
Myles, have the tariffs affected your joke explaining? Do you have to explain more jokes to make up for the upped cost per joke? We've moved a lot of our joke production to the United States. The tariffs did affect us a little bit because everything I'm saying right now is scripted by, we had some people in Bangladesh who were very, very funny, and they would write out all the reactions, and then they'd send them to me. But with the tariffs, we've had to move everything to the US. So it has gotten more expensive for sure. But I think we can make it work. As long as you guys keep super chatting and bitch cheering, we'll be okay through this tariff time.
I'm done with weirdos, dude. Because you know why? Because a weird kid is okay. It's cute, right? But if you don't nip that shit in the bud as their parents, they grow up to be weird adults. That dude doesn't get invited to Thanksgiving dinner. You know what I mean? I can't do that shit. I can't have Calvin be that way. Like, there was a weirdo kid in my elementary school when I went to elementary school, and
here we go.
He was weird as shit. His name was Steve Alpert. I should probably stop saying his name, but I know, dude. And we all used to make fun of him. Honestly, it wasn't so much me. Like, there were a lot of people. He was made fun of. I was the ringleader, and so but we made fun of him. And whenever we would make fun of him,
Chris. He did a great job establishing himself as a fun family man at the beginning. You don't want to admit you were a bully in school growing up. Those are not relatable people. But to be fair, bullies are usually winners. So maybe being a bully is good. I'll have to watch.
He was a weirdo. He would go like this. Fuck you. Like this, just like this. And like we would always do it, and nobody told him it was the wrong way. And then we would keep laughing, and then he would just be like, really? Fuck you, fuck you, fuck you, fuck you. Always fucking himself. Nobody told him it was too funny. Weird ass kid, okay? But then that kid grew up,
Great
and it's
prank.
like nobody ever told him. And he's just like 40 now at his job, like, fuck this, I'm going home early. That's a weirdo. You don't want to hang out with that motherfucker.
Yeah. That's a deal breaker. That's a deal breaker for me. So that's a funny, relatable thing. Good eyebrow work here. Not a weirdo. Chris D'Elia here, just laying out the thesis of be normal. But also, yeah, that's if a guy tried to say fuck you like this, and he never took it upon himself to find out the proper cultural, this way. That's a weird guy. Steer clear.
I can't have Calvin grow up and be like that. No way. I can't have that. I don't want that so much that that's definitely what'll happen, you know? Right? Like, because kids rebel against their parents. Like, he'll grow up, he'll come back from college one day, just like with that fucking tweet, just like, hello, that, you know?
Hello, Daddy. School's great.
Call back to the mustache.
We love him anyway. He marches to the beat of his own drum, but he means well. Whatever the fuck sad dads say.
Sad dad rhymes. Sad dad's a funny word. It rhymes. Crowd is very generous here. Vibing good. They're vibing good with Chris. And that's important.
I can't have Calvin grow up to be a weirdo. Like in 20 years, he's that weirdo in the back of the bar, just facing the wall. You know what I mean? Just hanging out, smoking in dim light with a ponytail, just eavesdropping on people's conversations.
Great act out.
Well, you know how it used to be in 2020. Like, sir, why are you wearing no pants and a Triceratops shirt?
Get an applause break for this act out. So this is when I say act out with Chris D'Elia, I really mean emphasize the act, right? Because he is acting here, and the crowd is they're taken in by his performance of a weird guy. This is his son growing up weird, and everyone imagines the weird people that they've known, and they're like, this is a weird guy. And they laugh because they remember how weird the guy was. So very, very funny stuff. Absolutely. I think it too. There's a lot of crowd atmosphere. If someone next to you laughs, you just kind of laugh. This is very infectious.
Bardar.
And that's
just
a callback. Bardar.
People, they don't wear pants. They just wear diapers and a Triceratops shirt. That's my favorite dinosaur. I'm 40. I have a favorite dinosaur. What's your favorite dinosaur, sir? Sir? Where are you going? For real though, my son loves dinosaurs. It's so cute, man. It's cute to see what they like grow up and what they like at a young age. Like.
So that was an act out of like an older funny scene. Thank you, Brian. Funny scene. That's definitely in the bingo card. That was a very funny scene. And he acted it out perfectly. The crowd was totally on board. Seemed very conversational, like you're hanging out with him at a party. Great technique here. And again, I have to emphasize, could you imagine, if Chris D'Elia actually was canceled and he had to go work for his dad 40 hours a week? You know how brutal that would be? Being like a manager at your dad's company? It's a disaster.
My son loves dinosaurs. And I got a tattoo of a Triceratops skull right there, yeah. I got it for him because he loves dinosaurs, and he also loves my tattoos. Like even when he was like a little infant, like he would look at my tattoos wherever they were, and he would see them, and whenever he saw them, he would be just like, he would look at them and be like, oh. Like he's a fucking old Asian dude or some shit. But that's what they do, honestly, and it's okay, but that's what old Asian dudes do. And
old Asian
dudes. What does it matter?
Old Asian dudes. What do old Asian dudes do? What?
Oh.
That's an accent. Is that an accent? That sounds like an accent. And also, it's a stereotype, a very specific stereotype that I haven't heard before. Do we have Asian in here, Brian? Great accent for sure. Or do we have just specific 22 Asian stereotype? There we are, baby. Very funny stuff. Yeah, I had never noticed that before. But that is exactly what Asians sound like when they see a dinosaur tattoo.
An old Asian dude or some shit. But that's what they do, honestly. And it's okay, but that's what old Asian dudes do. And what does it matter? I'm canceled. Doesn't matter what I say.
Hey.
But they do that, and that's okay, all right? You see them shopping, and they're just, outside of the store. Honestly, even if you're here and you're mad and you're Asian right now, you're like, you're doing it. So it's okay. And that's fine, but you do it. But moving on, and
look at him, and he just smirks. He's a sneaky guy. He knows he gets away with it. Crowd loves it. It's so annoying when liberals go after this guy saying that this stuff might be racist. It's like, dude, they're laughing.
So, yeah.
Specific racial stereotype. I'll give you that. I haven't heard that one before.
Do that, so anyway, but I wanted to get a tattoo for my son because he loves tattoos, he loves dinosaurs. So I came up to him and I was like, hey, buddy, I'm gonna get a tattoo for you on my arm. What's your favorite dinosaur? And my son said, Triceratops. So I was like, beautiful. But I know that he doesn't really have a grasp on the English language, so he doesn't, maybe he doesn't know what I'm saying. Also, maybe he doesn't even know what a Triceratops is. Like, he doesn't even know what a chicken is. So I was like, I'm gonna ask him every day for a few days what his favorite dinosaur is. Whatever he says the most, that's what I'll get, all right? So the second day, I walk up to him and I'm like, Calvin, what's your favorite dinosaur? And he literally goes like this, Triceratops. Like, all right, well, you don't have to be a fucking dick about it, you know what I mean? Like, be two, you're two, don't be a dick. So.
What?
So the third day I walk up to him and I'm like, I went like this. I say, hey, Calvin, what's your favorite? And he cut me off and he said, Triceratops. So I'm like, all right. Now I'm pissed off. And now I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna get it. I hope you don't like it when you grow up, okay? Fuck off. Like, that's the kind of petty I am. So.
Kid's fucking idiot,
So the
eh?
next day, the appointment, right? And so I walk up to him and I say, buddy, I'm gonna get the tattoo on my arm. You know what I'm gonna get? And he said, Triceratops. I said, yup, I'll be right back. So I left to go get the tattoo. A few hours later, I come back, I got the tattoo, I can't wait to show him. I run up to him, and he runs up to me, I said, look, buddy, and he looks at it, and he goes, oh, you know, he does the fucking old Asian thing. And
Call
then
back.
I said, you like that? And he said, yes. I said, what is it? And he said, Triceratops. I said, yup, because what's your favorite dinosaur? And he said, T-Rex!
Hey, oh, whoa, number one dad. In there with the punchline before Chris Delia. Oh my God. Clutch in the chat. I love to see when you guys can guess the punchline before he says it. That's the mark of a great comic, right? Because if you in your head you predict what they're gonna say and then they say it, it's like a wave. It's like it's almost an orgasmic experience. So wow. I hope, number one dad, I hope you clean up all of the jizz. Funniest fluid. Great stuff.
Yeah, that motherfucker got me, okay? And honestly, that was funny. I'm a comedian, I respect that. But like, now I have this bullshit on my arm that he doesn't even care about. That's for life. But isn't that what love is, right? Like, love is blind like that. I would have got whatever he said on my... Like, if he had said, no dinos, that they get Peppa Pig, I would have got Peppa fucking Pig on my chest. Just a 43-year-old walking around with Peppa Pig on my chest. People would be like, oh, the rumors are true.
He's a good man. He's a good dad. Don't forget. Was that okay, Peppa Pig on his chest. Is that the rumors are true? Is Peppa Pig on the chest? Is this a gay joke? Is this a gay joke? Is he saying that people have rumors about me being gay? Is that what that is? I have to check. It's a pedophile joke. Possibly. Oh, he loves kids. Oh, so that's wow. That's a lovely, okay, that is, so that's self-referential. Again, he's making fun of the fact that he was canceled for being a pedophile. And he makes fun of that because when you make fun of things, it makes it not as bad, right? It's a great strategy for a lot of stuff. It's like what I was talking about with Gutfeld. You know, when you watch Gutfeld's show and he talks about things like, you know, the tariffs or the stock market's down so much, he'll make a joke about it, and you were worried before, but now you're like, it's actually kind of funny. So it's similar here with Chris, right? You think, oh, he got in trouble for Snapchatting these underage girls, but he makes kind of a joke about it, and you're like, it's funny and fine. So great stuff.
Fuck out of here with that shit. I love being a dad, man. It's the best. I love being a dad. It's amazing. One of the funniest parts about being a dad is sometimes he'll ask me questions that I know the answers to, but I haven't thought about those answers for 40 years, okay? Like, for instance, here's one time, he asked me this recently. And by the way, this is how he asked me. He walked up to me, and this is how he walked up to me. He walks up to me like this. This is what he did, okay? No, I know, but he was holding his asshole. But that's how he walked up to me and holding his asshole. And by the way, super casual about it, which
We got a poop joke coming up.
is insane. Like, if you think about a situation where you had to hold your asshole, you would be so stressed out. You know what I mean? You'd be like, hey, can I talk to you for a second really quickly over here? Like, but this boy it was like he was gonna be like,
That's a joke about that's an anatomy joke, right? You can't physically hold your asshole. You might be able to pinch it, but you can't hold it. You have to have some gravity assistance to make hold. Or, you can't, you could grab your asshole. I don't think of hold is the right word there, but it's very funny because you can't really hold it. It's kind of like very great stuff.
like, hey, Dad, I found your spare keys. Like, that's how, yeah, just if you need them, thank you. So that's what he walked up to me like, okay? And I'm waiting. I was like, I don't know what the fuck's gonna happen. But he walks up to me and he says, hey, Dad. And I say, what's up, buddy? And this is what he says. He says, what is poop?
Here
Right?
it comes.
Fair enough, fair question. But then
We'll give
the
you
first
poop.
thing I thought of is like, man, I can't believe it's taken him 2.5 years to ask this very important question, you know? Like, there's stinky stuff coming out of his backside, and he's just cool with it for that long? To think for 2.5 years, he's just been like, you know what, I'll get to that later. Like, I would, but like, this block situation is out of control. They're not going to stack themselves, so
Stacking blocks.
it's okay, I have people for that. Like, so, it's me, I'm the people. So,
God, you know what? It's such a funny story, but also Chris is just such a good dad. Like, it's crazy they canceled this guy because he's such a good father and he spends so much time with his boy, and he's got a triceratops tattoo on his forearm. Jinx says, is Brendan Schaub his kid? It is a very Schaubian accent, for sure. Maybe he is paying homage to Brendan. Maybe it's a little bit of a Brendan roast in there. Very good reading into the situation.
but then I immediately thought, you know what? The reason why he hasn't asked me that question yet is because for 2.5 years, he didn't even know how to ask that question. Like, he didn't have the brain power, which is even worse, you know? To be, for 2.5 years, just dealing with it. Every day, multiple times a day, just be like, I can't wait to have the wherewithal to ask about this mess.
What a deep thought. What a deep thought. This is why we have comedians, right? Like, I've never pondered how a child or an infant learns about language. I've never thought about it. I just live my life just looking at TikToks. And then a guy like Chris comes along and he's like, isn't it crazy how people are born and learn? And I've never thought about it. So it blows your mind.
But that's what he asked. He said, what is poop? So I answered, and I told him the truth. He said, what is poop? And I just said, oh, it's food. And so I know. All right, whatever.
No.
I tried. You're not perfect parents either, so fuck off. So, but it's true. I said, it's food. Dude, your reaction, it was fair, but his reaction was way better, dude. I said, it's
Opposite
food,
comedy.
and he goes like this.
That's a little bit of body comedy there. I'll give you body comedy for that one. That's a good act out. He's just simply just shaking his head, doing a child act out. Great stuff.
That's not food, trust me. It's not food. Maybe I think that's food. That's not food. So I was like, okay, buddy, I get it. I get what you're thinking, but this is what I mean, okay? So the food that you eat It goes into your tummy, and it stays there for a while, and then later on, that's what comes out, and that's what poop is. And my son goes like this. Thank you, Daddy, and walks away, all right? By the way, my son says thank you like he's a little British boy, okay? And it's because he watches so much fucking Peppa Pig. And she's British, and he watches her way more than he talks to me, the little bitch-ass pig. So now, my son is just like, all right, cheerio, governor, and walking away.
Oh, great accent again. That's multiple accents.
So he walks a few steps, and I watch him, and then he stops, and a light bulb goes off.
This is a long story. We've already checked off the long story bingo card, but this is a long story.
And then he walks back to me, and he says, hey, Dad. And I'm like, yeah, buddy. And he says, what comes out of my penis?
Oh.
Another fair question, you know?
Hey.
So I said, all right, buddy, so whatever you drink, whatever liquid it is, whether it be water or milk, you drink it, it goes into your tummy, it stays there for a while, and that's what comes out of your penis, all right? And my son said, top of the morning to you, you know what I mean? And then
good call back
away.
there. Yep.
And then later on.
So Peppa Pig, if you guys don't know, Peppa Pig is a children's show. It's funny that Chris said, fuck that bitch, right? Because generally Peppa Pig is a very harmless show. So to be that agitated about a children's show is a very weird thing. And being weird is funny, even though Chris hates weird people because he himself is not weird. A lot of conflicting themes here, but from that conflict builds tension and results in humor and laughter. Very, very funny stuff. He continues this story. Peppa Pig, there's Peppa Pig, Paw Patrol, and Coco Melon compilations. This is the three big kids
I
shows.
see my son by himself in the kitchen just eating a muffin, just eating the shit out of it, right? Like just eating it and looking at it, just eating it and looking at it. And I realize like he's marveling at how good this tastes. Like he's had maybe one muffin before, and it's like he's just like, I can't believe this fucking tastes like this again. Like
Yeah, Chris is just he's marveling at human life. You know, he can't believe that he has a son. And he's such a good father.
But it's a flavor explosion. What the fuck? And I'm watching him.
I mean, again, this is so meta, right? This is so crazy how many layers this joke has, because Chris, right, is watching his son enjoy a muffin, which makes Chris laugh. And then the audience is watching Chris enjoy his own story, and the crowd laughs. And then we watch the crowd watch Chris watch his son, and in return, we laugh. It's amazing how laughter travels like that.
I'm watching him eat the muffin, and as I'm watching him eat the muffin, I hear him say out loud to himself, he goes like this, muffins come out of my penis. And yeah, and then I hear my wife go like this, oh! And I'm like, no, don't encourage this. You're making a fucking...
That's the callback to the wife from the beginning. He did that same movement. So that's the wife there.
Weirdo.
Good callback.
Nip this in the bud. Like you're gonna make a serial killer. You know what I mean? Like that's how that happens, by the way. The mom lies a lot, and then the kid grows up, they don't know what reality is, and then they just start stabbing motherfuckers. That's what happens. Like I'm gonna be, in 20 years, I'm gonna be watching the news with my wife. It's gonna be like, the muffin penis killer strikes again. And I'm gonna be like, you know what this is, right? You know what you've done to the world? Do you know what you've done to the world? I gotta watch a 4-part docuseries on my son.
Look at how much he like. Now these are all pre-written jokes, I assume. I bet, but it seems so much like he's just saying stuff, and then he himself is amused by things that are seemingly just popping into his head. Very interesting style, very unique style of comedy here for the comedian to be enjoying the act as much or more than the crowd.
She's like, we sat down with the muffin.
We sat down with the muffin penis killer.
Reactoid. Red Bar's watching us watch the audience watch Chris watch his son. Oh, wow. $20 donation. Thank you so much. That's so generous of you. And yes, it is. There may be even a fifth layer of watching to this. We've got more than 100 people watching this, laughing at the audience, laughing at Chris, laughing at his son. It's just amazing that one boy eating a muffin can translate to probably, if this continues exponentially, probably the whole world laughing. So thank you so much for your generous donation. It means a lot. Keeps the lights on here and helps us weather the tariffs and keeps our supplies of one of the 1,000 pins coming from China.
So, muffin penis killer, what? So what was your earliest memory?
The first thing I remember is I was eating a muffin and my mom told me that it comes out of my penis. The muffins come out of my penis, and then I took it as gospel, you know, and then I didn't even know that was wrong until I was a teen, and that's when I started killing women because they lie, you know? But that's how that happens.
So he's painting a really wacky scene here, right? And if you're really on board, which the crowd is, and you're following him on this funny scene, he has a common formula, right? He starts out with a premise, and then he veers into becoming weirder and wackier, and he paints these amazing scenes through his voice ability, his body comedy ability. He's sitting on the stool too. I didn't even realize that he had taken a seat at this point, but it's a story time, stool time.
I love being a dad. It's hilarious. Every day is hilarious. It's amazing, dude. He's a beautiful boy, but he wakes up like a demon. It's awesome. Like, it's hilarious. He wakes up like a demon. And I know when I say that, it sounds creepy because obviously I'm watching him sleep, but it's not creepy, okay? And I'll tell you why. It's because if you have a toddler, you know that watching him or her sleep is not creepy. It's the most beautiful thing in the world. It's pure as shit. Like, they're sleeping, they don't have a care in the world. Like, they have beautiful dreams. You understand? They've got beautiful dreams. Like, I'm an adult. I have fucked up dreams, okay? For real. I had a dream the other day that I was in the Ukraine, and it was...
That's very funny that he says kids have beautiful dreams. Just as an aside, I did not have beautiful dreams as a child. I remember, Brian automatically shared Brian and I, maybe that's why we're such good friends, is because we were tormented children with our dreams. I had a dream that I remember as a kid, I woke up and I dreamed that there was an alligator in my bed, and all I remember was trying to reason with this alligator, being like, listen, don't bite me. I think we want a lot of the same things. We're not so different. And then I was just nervously petting this alligator, and then I woke up and just puked everywhere. And I've never forgotten that experience. But kids have complicated dreams.
It was up to me, all right? And and I died. I failed immediately too. I ran out and I had good guns and I just got shot up, okay? I dropped, I couldn't get up, I was dying, bleeding out, all right? And as I was bleeding out, I took my last breath.
Shameless replay on YouTube donated $5. Late to the stream, but glad I got to see you live. Thanks so much, Shameless Replay, for being here. We've got lots left in the stream, as you can see by the red bar on the bottom of the screen. We're only about a third of the way through this bad boy. And I will let you know that from the beginning of the video to here, Chris has been telling a story about how his son is.
And I opened my eyes, and there was a Russian standing above me, and he looks down at me, and he goes like this. And you know what? Yeah, okay? And by the way, I don't agree with that. I don't think you should say that word, but that was my subconscious. You can't be mad at me. But I even woke up and I was like, no, we don't say that. Like, dude, I love gays, okay? Pride is my favorite month. Like, dude, I drive down Hollywood Boulevard. I see all those rainbows. I'm like, that's not annoying at all. Like, I'm into it, okay? I I drove by a dentist's office with a rainbow on it the other day. I went in, I made an appointment, and I was cool about it, getting my teeth done. But while I was doing it, the Russian in my head was like, this dentist is big. And you know what? I don't agree with that. I don't think you should say that even if you are the Russian in my head, okay?
Oh, shit. I think he said a slur. Is that in the bingo card list? I guess we can't have just a list of slurs on the bingo card, or we'll get in trouble there. But great stuff.
This dentist is big. You're going to let him put things in your mouth?
Oh, yeah.
Maybe you little bit gay too.
But yeah, man, my son doesn't know those words. He doesn't know about what it's like to be prejudiced or what it's like to be racist. He doesn't know about the war in Ukraine. He doesn't even know what war is. He doesn't even know where the Ukraine is, just like his dad.
Oh, yeah,
he doesn't have
a good
fucked up
Russian
dreams. He has
accent
beautiful dreams, you know? Just like whatever, he's dreaming of whatever he learned that day, you know? Just like lizard or whatever. One single lizard. A lizard driving a truck, you know? But when he wakes up like a demon. Like, it's hilarious. Like, I'll watch him sleep, and this is how he wakes up. Every morning, I'm watching him sleep, and he wakes up like this. I'm like, dude, how do you even know where I am? Like, as an adult, when you wake up, well, like, half the time, you're like, where am I? This kid is like, not only do I know where I am, I know where you are, too.
This kid's... Again, so this is so remarkable here, right? He's just describing typical child behavior here. Everybody's noticed it, but nobody's ever really told it with the amusement that Chris has. And so that's the special sauce here, right? It's just the fact that Chris is doing it is just so funny, because it's like, these people have heard him on podcasts. This is what you need to understand. Chris has a very successful podcast as well, and people have heard him on podcasts for thousands of hours. And just so seeing a podcast guy in real life is an overwhelming experience. It'd be like if you saw a Jesus Christ return. So I think these people are really still overwhelmed by they're starstruck.
I don't think you should say that word, okay? Don't say it at your job. You can say it at mine, but don't say it at your job. It will be so bad for you. Dude, how crazy is it that we live in a country that if you say certain words, you lose a bunch of money?
Can't say redacted. That is on the bingo card, baby. Where is it, Brian? What number are we looking at here? I can't see it. It's on the bingo card, though. Oh, there it is. Number 36 is a common premise. You can't say certain words. How many times have you seen this in a comedy special in the last 7 years? You can't say these words anymore, right? I remember the first time that was mentioned was in a special called Chewed Up, I think, by Louis C.K. He mentioned that. And so I think this is a nod to comedians from 15 years ago when they do these jokes.
Isn't that crazy? There's like 5 words that if you say them, you lose your job.
Oh, you're right.
Money.
George Carlin was one of the first ones to do words you can't say on TV, right? Oh, man.
Friends, you get shamed. That's like the worst game show ever, you know?
100 years ago.
It's just like,
Hi, I'm your host of the new show, Don't Say That.
Look at Chris. Chris is laughing at the great observation. Yes, I'll give you that one. Chris is laughing at the premise. He's laughing at the setup to the joke. Chris is already laughing, knowing how funny this is gonna be, and the crowd is just wriggling in their seats, just so ready for this. Oh, I'm so excited too. This is gonna be so good.
We try to get people to say what they're not supposed to say. So, hey, I'm the host I'm the host of Don't Say That. Today we're gonna go into that grocery store and try to get a guy to say again. Here we go. Yeah, come on, cameraman, let's go. Come on, hurry up, let's go. Come on, let's try to get this guy. Let's pick the right fucking guy. Come on, fucking hurry up. Here we go. Here we go. Where's the guy? Huh? Let's see. Where's the guy? Where's the guy? Oh, that's a good guy. Come on, man. Let's go, man. Come on.
Big act out here.
Pep in your step. Let's go. Let's get this guy. Here we go. Here we go. Here we go. Hey, sir. How's it going? So, hey, I'm the host of the new TV show, Don't Say That. So, hey, I see you're just shopping around and you got your cart half full and you're running your errands, and that's cool, man. So I was just wondering, man. So say you were shopping and doing your thing, everything was going about, you know, just like it is, and then all of a sudden a gay guy bumped into you, huh? What might you think about that guy? What might you think about that guy, huh?
What's the punchline gonna be? Guess it, guys. Look at these eyebrows. Wish I could. Maybe I should do that. I should do these eyebrows more when I. Oh, another Crystalia special's out.
I don't know, you know, I don't think it really matters, your sexuality. I think if someone bumps into you, it's just plain annoying, so I would just leave it at that.
Yeah. No, look, I get it, man. And hey, buddy, I'm on your side, okay? I'm just saying, you know, what if he bumped into you and what if he was like really gay, you know what I mean? What if he was just like roller skating on by, you know, and he hit
Look at did you see this? Did you see the knees there? Did you see how funny those knees were? Oh, man.
you. And then maybe you
Limber.
grew up in the South. What might you think then?
Oh, well, then I might think he's a
Oh, you lose 10 grand.
Join us next episode where we go into Costco and try to get the manager to say retard.
Hey. Still comes back. Look at this. Look at this, ladies and gentlemen. This is the story. This is only in America, right? Can you just fill out a theater after being accused of being a pedophile? This is a nation of dreams. Comedy's legal again. Back on track. It's so good to see. But let's just analyze that joke, right? That's just so funny, and it's a great concept for a funny game show. I hope that he actually makes this game show. I would watch it every day. It's just such a funny concept. But plus, ends the joke. You think he's going to say the word he's been talking about the whole time, but then instead he ends with another word you're not allowed to say, proving his point, but also little bit of misdirect, but also such a funny word. It's a perfect joke, and he sells it with the eyebrows and the knee wiggle. All very funny. Huge audience. Look at him, just soaking it in. He's back, baby.
Welcome to episode 2. Episode 2 of the TV show. Hey guys, I'm your new host. Hey guys, episode 2. Don't say that. I'm your new host. Last guy got fired. So I just today we'll just hey, it's episode 2 is a great one. Today.
Oh, it keeps going. So he's gonna add. There's more episodes to this TV show that he's making up on the spot here. Just a creative masterclass.
Today we're gonna go into that Costco and try to get the manager to say retard. Okay? Here we go. Come on, let's go.
He's gonna keep going. He's gonna keep going through the worst words and worst words.
Come on, run. Come on, let's go. We gotta get to Costco and try to get the manager to say, "Come on, man, fucking hurry up, fucking." Okay, here we go. All right. Yeah. Where's the manager? Oh, there he is, back there. Come on, man. Come on, hurry up, man. Fuck. There you go. Hey, how's it going, manager? Hi, you're the manager, yeah? So anyway, I'm the new host of Don't Say That. Last guy got fired. So I have a question for you. So you're the guy in charge of hiring, right? So say.
Here we go.
So listen, say you hire a guy, okay, and you're like, you know, something's off.
So it's perfect. It's perfect now, right? It's perfect because the audience has seen the first part of this joke which is similar to the second part, but also there's so much tension building because they're thinking, what word is he going to come up with next? Is it going to be worse? Which word's it going to be? And then he'll reveal the word, and the crowd will go insane. Big applause break, I predict.
It's off about him, you don't know, right? You can't tell. And it's all good, right? To each their own. But, like, you hire the guy, okay? And, like, you know, you tell him when to come in. He's always showing up late. Like, you can't really understand the concept of time, okay? And when you have him stack boxes in the back, he starts with small boxes, and the boxes get bigger and bigger as they get on top. That's not the right way to do it, right? And you tell him to redo it, but he's lazy. He's too lazy. Like, what's wrong with that guy? What kind of guy would be like that? What kind of guy would do that, huh?
Lazy.
A black guy?
Oh. There we are.
No, but you lose 10 grand.
We knew it was going to be that. We knew it was going to be something like that. Ah. I hope you guys are clapping along with the crowd here. That earned a water sip. Holy, I'm going to sip in solidarity with Delia for that one. You earned it, man. Funny stuff. Great setup for a joke, right? I mean, he built so much tension there. And then he creates all these characters. He creates an environment. There's a store. There's jobs. He created a whole city, a town. This act out, this scene, this joke had a functioning economy in it. Comedian takes a sip. Absolutely so funny. Number 54. He definitely took a sip. I took a sip.
Yeah, man, my son doesn't know those words. That's my whole point. You know, it's kind of awesome. Like, he's just this, you know, pure boy that, like, the world hasn't gotten to yet. You know? And, like, that's up to me and my wife to make sure that...
He has two stools. This guy got a dual stool setup. Holy shit. Oh, there's only... This is a two-stool comedian. You know, this is almost at the top of the game. The best comic will have 3, 4, 5 stools. Chris D'Elia is already up to 2 stools. He's still got 2 stools even after all of the negative attention he's got. I thought he'd be down to 1 stool by now, but he's a 2 stool still. Incredible stuff.
It's kind of awesome. Like, he's just this, you know, pure boy that, like, the world hasn't gotten to yet. You know?
Cursing user says, "What's the advantage of multi-stool?" Oh man, have you not been watching this series? The more stools, the funnier it is. So much more chance for act outs, props. You can imagine if you had a threesome with the stools, right? Usually comedians hump the one stool, but you can have one stool in front. You can have one stool on your face. It's endless opportunities for comedy with more stools.
Like, that's up to me and my wife to make sure that he grows up to be a good person. And that's like responsibility, man. You know, that's wild. Like, he doesn't know a lot of words. He knows some words. One of the things, there's something that he says a lot, and he says it all the time, and it's kind of alarming, and it's a whole sentence. But he'll look at me, and he'll go like this. I'm Dada. Yeah, and he's not Dada, okay? And I think that he knows that it irks me because, like, he keeps doing it. Like, he did it now, and now he does it with, like, his chest. Like, he'll say, like, he's literally, the last few times he's said it, he's looked at me, and he's gone like this. I'm Dada. Like,
yeah, he's back to the sun. Yes, Kyle with a K36 says again with the sun. He is back to the sun. You know, he's got to remind people again that he's a good father, loves his son. He has a son. You can't be attracted to underage women if you have a son. It's impossible at that point. It's actually common knowledge. So before he had a son, he was a real wild guy. He might have gotten into some regrettable situations, but now that he has a son, those are gone now.
Yeah, like he's doing one of those fucking, what is it, the haka dances that like Jason Momoa does with 40 other Jason Momoas with no shirts on at the fucking movie premieres. You know what I'm talking about? It's just the fucking
great act out there.
I'm Dada. Like, that's how. There's 2 babies behind him.
Oh.
That's body comedy. That's some BODY body comedy. I think we've checked that off the list already, but that is wonderful stuff. Look at his eyebrows too.
Where'd you guys come from? We met at the park. I don't like that fucking Jason Momoa does that shit with like 40 other Jason Momoas outside of movie theaters. That's annoying as fuck, man. It's so annoying. And I know when I say that too, some people, I feel kickback. They're like, that's, you know what? It's their culture, dude. We draw the line there. That's not cool. You know what? I don't give a fuck. Here's the deal. I think culture's great. Have your culture. Live your culture.
This is his thesis, goes back to his thesis of don't be weird, right? Chris Delia doesn't like weird stuff. And a haka dance to Chris is weird, so.
And it's beautiful.
Here we
That's
go.
great. But here's the deal. If you do your culture in annoying areas at annoying times, I get to be pissed off about it, okay? Like, dude, I grew up Catholic. That'd be like if I was at the bank just, I came here to make a deposit. Just with the collection plate, trying to fit it in the thing.
Great stuff.
Thank you very much. Yeah, at the Dairy Queen, just like, I'll take vanilla forever and ever with chocolate sprinkles on it. Chocolate sprinkles are the only acceptable toppings on ice cream. Fuck all these goddamn ice cream places with the goddamn toppings on it.
Okay.
Who the fuck's eating Swedish fish on ice? You know what I mean? Who the fuck's eating that shit? I don't like those places.
Great. A very funny act out yet again here. Funny voice. So Chris is not only using his body in weird ways, he's also using his voice. He's using the microphone technique. He's getting louder and quieter. Sometimes, again, if I were to read this script and try to parse the jokes out via text alone, it would be impossible. But when you work in that he gets louder and quieter throughout saying stuff, that has a big comedic effect because you don't expect things to get loud and quiet, and you just have to laugh.
You get chocolate sprinkles, that's it. I don't like when people are just like, ooh, fucking hyper uppercut right there, dude. Just like, oh yeah, I'll get shredded paper. I'll get the shredded paper.
What? Oh shit.
Yeah, man, it's crazy, dude. 3 years ago, when I
He's sitting down on the stool. It's about to get funny.
went through all that shit, it was wild. I went to, and I got into therapy immediately. I got into therapy and I did it every day, and I did it all day, man. Like,
He's worked on himself.
that's why I say I cried every day. That shit's the truth.
This is strong, right? It's a strong guy. It's honestly, this is what a lot of people don't understand. It's brave of you to go back into show business when you've endured so much disdain from the public, you know? But he's brave for going back and doing theaters for people that demand to hear a man change the volume of his voice. Because there's just no one else who could do that. Yeah.
Except it was during COVID, so it was on Zoom. Like, that's so bitch, you know? Like, they're so alone in a room crying, like nobody's there. You know, and there's no one to hug. Every session ended like this. Okay, I'll see you next time.
You know, I'm not a therapist, right? Because I can't diagnose Chris or what happened. But you remember, there's several years ago, there was a wealthy boy, and Chris was a wealthy boy growing up. He crashed like a Porsche or a Ferrari into some sort of into a building or something, and the judge said, or the defense was making the argument that the boy was suffering from affluenza, which is a psychological condition of when you grow up wealthy, you don't have any sense of right or wrong or consequences. And it's possible that's just what Chris had. He was unfortunate enough to be born very wealthy, and that messed up his brain, and he just had so many parties and sex that he just didn't know he wasn't allowed to do sex with girls that were teenagers. And so then he had to learn this lesson and have therapy every day, which, as you know, is an affordable thing to have therapy every day. That was sarcastic. It's very expensive. And but he did this to learn. And so this is really kind of a wonderful hero story of a guy who grew up with no consequences, got in trouble one time, said he was sorry, and is now going back to making a lot of money again. So it's just so glad. It's so nice to see that someone can recover from such an unfortunate event, you know?
One time, the funniest, saddest moment in my life, I was in the middle of a session and my computer ran out of battery. And I had to walk through my house crying, looking for my iPad. I was like, has anyone seen my iPad? My son was like, you're actually a pussy. Like,
so he not only was he a good father, he also cried during his therapy session. So he's full of remorse, full of love. He's a good man. Don't forget it. But also, don't forget to laugh.
I don't like going to therapy. It's hard. Some people are like, oh, don't you love going to therapy? No. You're doing it wrong, man. In the beginning, I had 5 therapists. It was crazy. They were like the fucking Power Rangers, you know? Like, and they know shit too. Like, they know shit about you. Like, you come with a certain energy, and they're always saying shit like, right, but what's the feeling behind that feeling, you know? And you're just like, I'm good, you know? They always know shit about you that it surprises you. Like, I was talking to one of them early on, the green one, and she...
Green one.
She was like, tell me about your day. No, I don't know. I don't know which Power Ranger has the flu, because I'm not a fucking dork, okay? But, like, I know, because dorks will be like, it's a lucky guess, okay? It actually is the green one, but try not to walk in our world. And so... So I was talking to her, and she clocked it quick. She was like, oh, you have an anger problem. And that made me so mad. Like, I don't... I was like, fucking, no, I don't. Oh, you got me. Leave it alone, huh? Walls up.
Okay, crowd is really on board with this therapy story. They're really relating to his therapy experience. I guess a lot of his people in his crowd have been to therapy as well. I wish I've always wanted to go to therapy and talk about the alligator dream, but it's expensive. So I don't know if this is what therapy is like. I always thought it was just like that movie, Analyze That.
She's like, why don't you tell me about it? And I was like, well, you can just give me the medication, okay? She's like, I don't even know you yet. I don't know how to prescribe you. And I was like, all right, okay. So over the course of the first few weeks of therapy, I started opening up to someone about my feelings in a way that I had never, ever done before. And it was a stranger, go figure, you know? Like, I was talking to her about my anger, that was the first thing we started talking about. But I realized that anger isn't like a primary emotion that you feel. Usually. It's always like the second emotion, especially for a dude, you know? Dudes are always like, that just makes me angry, but it's not true. Like it's like you're sad first, and then that makes you angry, right? Like as a dude, you're like, no, fuck that, you know what I mean? Like that's what a dude does. Or fear, you get scared, you're like, oh, hey, fuck you, you know what I mean? Like that's... So I'm talking to her about this, and then she's, we're talking about...
Geo Fox says, does he actually read these live chats? Of course, but I try. Brian is right. I don't really read as much as I can get the vibes from the letters. I don't know the exact words I'm seeing, but I get letters. Letters give me certain vibes, and I know how to read them. But yeah, I could see. We got some Playland bringing up some points here about accusing a person of criminality without evidence. This is not a legal proceeding. Chris Delia was famously in the media for sending snaps to underage girls to solicit sex with them. Nobody knows what happened behind the scenes. We assume the worst, just generally because of opinions of people who know him well. But again, we're not accusing that ship has sailed. We're not talking about that Playland. Chris is a good man. He's a good father to a son. He's got a dinosaur tattoo. He loves raising his son. He goes to therapy, and he does not deserve to be working full time at a job. He should be one of the 250 top comics doing theater tours, buying Ferraris. He earned that, right? He paid his dues.
My anger and then my fear, which is what I've had my whole life. I've always been scared of everything. From as early on as I can remember, I've just had this crippling fear. And dealing with it is really hard. You know, I got a lot of anxiety because of it. And I try to, I have a lot of depression because of it. And the loneliness is the thing that kills me, because then I have to sit with my thoughts. And I don't like feeling my feelings, right? Because that's real life. And that's what I was scared of, you know? And then I would tell her about my OCD that I would use to try and control my fear. And it was just, it was a mess. And I was telling her about this. And she was like, well, listen, I can't prescribe you medication, but there are a lot of techniques that you can use that aren't medicine to cope with these feelings. And I said, like what? And she said, well, have you ever heard of havening? And I said, no. And she said, well, what she said was, there's actually a lot of science behind it. And like anytime someone leads with that, I'm like, and for that reason, I'm out.
Redactoid Alligator Dream Therapy Accusation Legal Defense Fund with another $20 donation. Oh my God, dude, you're probably the richest chatter in the chat. Brian, is there any way to gild his profile name with unobtainium? Redactoid, thank you so much for your donation. That is going straight in the legal defense fund and the Alligator Dream Therapy Fund. Maybe I'll just if I do talk to my therapist that I find about my dreams, I'll make sure to live stream it.
You know what I mean? Like, this is a weak pitch. I've seen Shark Tank. You're not getting the money, you know? That fucking show just like, hi, Sharks, I'm Chris. Are you tired of crying into your iPad? Well, do I have the product for you? With this gun and my new bullets. Guys, like, the problem with this product is I don't see any repeat customers.
So I was like, all right, what's havening? I'll bite.
I got confused. I've been thinking too much about that $20. What is he talking about here?
Out. You know what I mean? Like, this is a weak pitch. I've seen Shark Tank. You're not getting the money, you know? That fucking show just like, hi, Sharks, I'm Chris.
Okay.
Are you tired of crying into your iPad? Well, do I have the product for you? With this gun and my new bullets.
So this is an act out within a story. He's telling a story about therapy, and he's acting out a Shark Tank episode with him in it, within the therapy. This is like an Inception joke, where there's so many jokes within the joke, within the story, within the fact that he loves his son.
Guys, like, the problem with this product is I don't see any repeat customers.
So I was like, all right, what's havening? I'll bite. And she said, all right, well, it's 2 steps. I was like, okay, well, it doesn't work, you know? Like, what works is 2 steps. She said, seriously, all you gotta do, step 1 is hold your arms like this. That was step 1, all right? So I was like, all right, well, then step 2 has to be overdose. She says, step 2, all you gotta do is rub your arms and breathe. And I was like, oh, okay, but I'm a fucking adult. How's that gonna work? Imagine me frustrated in line at the
Cursing you there, god damn it. $20. You guys are making me absolutely rich. I'm gonna go buy a friggin' Big Mac. I'm not gonna use any straws. I'm gonna friggin' slam some food today. God damn, I'm gonna be so healthy on Monday. Thank you so much. That's so generous of you guys. We're almost on the way to buying a single Nintendo Switch game on the Switch too. Thank you so much, guys. It means a lot. It means a lot, and it helps fuel my explanations, which can be so difficult during a guy who's so conceptual like this.
The DMV just like, oh.
Welcome to the subscription, Gizmote.
Oh.
Great name.
People are like, is that canceled comedian? Why did he bring his iPad? I have such a deep need for acceptance in my life. I didn't know about this, but I do. I struggle with it ever since as early as I can remember. And doing all this therapy and going to rehab, that all helped me figure it out. And it's a journey, you know? I want people to like me so much, and there's good ways to cope with it and bad ways to cope with it. But I was telling this to my therapist, you know, she was helping me uncover it. And then she said to me, well, you know, that's no surprise you're a comedian. And I said, what do you mean? And she said, it just tracks with you, you know, like it makes sense. I know you think you like to do stand-up because you like to make people laugh, and you do, and that's great. When people laugh, that means that they accept you, and you need that. And that's when I was like, you're a fucking bitch.
Got him. Great response.
This whole time.
So that's not what you're expecting, right? In a therapy situation, you're thinking, oh, he was talking about being so emotional and so sad and vulnerable, and then he's like, you're a bitch, right? Which is like such a twist on its head. You don't expect it. It's just kind of a sudden thing, right? And it breaks the tension that was established. So classic, great setup, punchline. Joke there.
I thought I did stand up to make people laugh. Turns out I do it to make sure I don't cry. That blew my fucking mind. Because it's true.
Yeah, it's true. It's true. This is a great insight into how comedians work, right? They're angry, depressed, fucked up people. They don't have any real friends. They basically sacrifice their entire existence just to make people laugh. They don't do it for the money. They don't do it because they work 3 days a week. They don't do it because they get good tables at restaurants. They do it because they're so fucked. They have to make people laugh. It's just a pure drive. There's no real monetary incentive. Kimbo's sliced pan. This is a great use of everybody's time. Thanks, Myles. I agree with this. Thank you so much for your donation. 5.99 euros. Those are euros, ladies and gentlemen. Those are like Spanish doubloons. Those are real. Euros are made of real platinum and gold. They go a long way on the other side of the pond here. So thank you very much for your donation. And thank you for acknowledging that this is a great use of everybody's time. We're all having a blast, and we're all learning a lot. We're learning a lot about the inside of a comedian's head. That's why, I don't do stand-up anymore. And I just explain jokes. It's just because I'm not fucked up enough. I asked people around me, I'm like, am I fucked enough to be a stand-up? And they were like, not at all. So, just not funny.
True. And I'm exploring this with my therapist, and we're talking about it. And she's like, what's the earliest memory that you felt either unaccepted or scared? And I was like, for as long as I remember, ever since a little kid, I would walk into a room and I would think people don't like me, I have to win them over. And she was like, you think everybody in the room that you walk into doesn't like you? And I say, to be honest, yeah. And she says, man, that's a bad tape to be playing over and over in your head. I said, well, what do you mean? And she said, these people in the room, they might not like you, but they also might like you. They might not, like your comedy. They might be fans. They might not know your comedy. Hell, they might not even know you walk into the room. And that's when I was like, they know when I walk into the room. But again, that's my ego talking, because I'm scared that the people in the room won't accept me.
Yeah, that's why. So he's actually scared. He's scared and vulnerable. Again, this is why he's like this. He's scared and vulnerable. He's doing what he can.
Truth. And you know what?
Not funny,
like I
but
said,
insightful.
there's good ways to cope with it and bad ways to cope with it. It's not so bad being a comedian. It's kind of awesome. I didn't have to feel my feelings. I could go on stage, I make people laugh, and I got stuff for it. Money, fame, I got stuff for it, okay? And it was intoxicating to me. And I let it rule my life. I wouldn't stop when I was on stage. I would still be that funny guy because I wouldn't want to feel my emotions. And that's fucking toxic, that's fucked up. But it happened, and I would walk around, I'd be out on the street late at night, I'd see some dude with like cargo shorts on, and I'd be like, fuck this motherfucker. How many things does he need to carry at 11 p.m.? And still keep it breezy, And joke's on that motherfucker. I felt good.
Oh, so he doesn't do that anymore. So part of his toxic behavior, Garble Super Vibes. Thank you so much for the super chat with the Super Vibes, $10 Canadian. Thank you so much for your donation, and thank you for acknowledging the Super Vibes. This is such fascinating stuff, really deep insight. Chris is getting so personal here. There's a totally new Delia, I think, that we're looking at here. He certainly has grown instead of dying, if I could say that much. But also, he's talking about what a great roast. I mean, it's good he's changed, but could you imagine if you were walking down the street and Chris D'Elia was roasting people with cargo pants, being like, why do you need all those pockets at 11 p.m., dog? I mean, God, that would be an unbelievable moment.
You laugh, okay? But it's fucked up, man. You got to feel your feelings. And I always hated doing that. But you do, you have to. And the thing is...
You're fucking awesome, Chris.
Thanks, bro.
Wow. Which one of you was in the crowd for this taping? Which one of you yelled that? I bet it was one of you guys. Look at, they love him. They love him so much.
Thank you, man.
He's brought
Look,
so much
I think
joy.
in this life, it's like, when the shit hits the fan, you got an option. You can either grow or die. That's it. There's no in between, Like there's...
Grow or die. That's the name of the special. Yes, yes, yes. That's it's important to work the title of the special into your stand-up act. It's like when Gandalf looks into the camera and says, it appears we have formed the Lord of the Rings, the Fellowship of the Rings, brought to you by New Line Cinema.
There's no in between. And the thing is that life, it doesn't stop. It doesn't stop for anyone. And, for me, in therapy, I have to use the tools I learned to try and play catch up in my life, because I wasn't a real person until very recently, But life doesn't stop. It keeps going, right? Like, so I was
such deep stuff.
This happened the other day.
Philosophy.
I was in the kitchen.
Like, this is what we're talking about. When we talk about comedians or philosophers, this is philosophy. A lot of people in the crowd were just fumbling through life before they went and saw Chris, and now they have a totally new outlook.
And my wife was there too, okay? And she's doing her own thing, and she goes like this. Where are the light bulbs? And just immediately anger searing through my body, right? Because you know why? Because, you live there. Do you know what I mean? And I wanted to be, this is what I wanted to be. When she said, where are the light bulbs? I immediately wanted to say, hey,
Yeah, that's interesting. Ann Polar makes a funny point here. The rich men get to self-actualize at age 40. I think that's such an interesting observation. Yeah, poor people generally have to figure their life out by the time they're 14 and really get their shit together. But rich people can kind of figure stuff out. They can make mistakes, maybe 2-3 dozen mistakes. But by the time they're 40, they talk to a therapist, they figure out their shit, and then they can live a fulfilling, long, healthy, nutrient-filled life.
Why don't you fucking look? Like, that's what I wanted to do. And I know that's wrong, but I wanted to do it so bad, okay? Like, I wanted to, like, here's the deal. Dude, I'm getting mad now even just thinking about it. But like, if I invited you guys over to my house right now and I was like, hey, everybody, find the light bulbs, 20 of you would find them immediately. You don't even live there, okay? She's been there for years and years and years and years. So she says, where are the light bulbs? I caught myself. I didn't say shit, but I couldn't help it. And I went like this.
This is a wife story? Is this wife being annoying? That's a bingo card right there. Annoying wife, woman voice is going to come up. He hasn't quite done the woman voice yet, but women are annoying. It's got to be in there. My wife is annoying. I'll do my wife is annoying. Women are going to come up at some point here, I imagine.
And I pointed to where they are. And then she goes like this, oh my God. But that's when I was like, I know, I'm sorry. I'm sorry, I'm me.
Yeah, that's the callback.
And then behind her, my son peeked out and said, I'm Dada. And you know what?
Nice.
He's right, in a way.
Nice callback. A lot of callbacks.
He is, though. He's right in a way. Because here's the thing. Before I became a dad, I would have thought that if I had a child, I would want him to grow up to be just like me. But that's ego, you know? Now, I know that I am a father. I don't want him to grow up and be like me. I want him to grow up and be better than me. I don't want him to make the same mistakes I made.
Yeah. Preach, Chris. He's a good man.
You know? And that's why all this shit is serendipitous to me. Like, all this stuff happened at the same time. You know, COVID, I was canceled. I had my first son. Like, this is all crazy that this happened at the same time, right? So I took time and
Yeah, I wonder if that was a coincidence. I wonder if Chris Delia getting in trouble for some text messages caused COVID. Like, I wonder if that was the universe balancing itself out, being like, hey, you can't go after Chris like that. And then, you know, that maybe that was a divine intervention.
You know, I stayed home. I stayed home for a year. And, you know, I stayed home for 2 reasons, because of COVID and I was canceled, right? Like, I didn't want people to be like, don't cough, oh, and also, fuck you, right? So, that's a real stay-at-home motherfucker. So I stayed home. I stayed home for a year. And for the first time in my life, look, I didn't like to feel my feelings, but guess what? I'm fucked with Calvin. I love him. I love him, so I have to feel.
Loves his son. Good man.
Thank you.
So that's a great thing to say. A lot of people in this crowd love their children. It's a common thing. So when you mention you love your child, crowd agrees. Give it a big applause break. Very good stuff.
We couldn't go anywhere though, man. You know, we would stay indoors it was like a year, man. We stayed indoors. We watched a bunch of TV, and you know, we watched a bunch of Netflix, and then we stopped watching Netflix the day Netflix cut me out of a bunch of shit. Listen, it was a woke move, but it was a business move, and for that, I understand. But let me just tell you one thing about it, all right? Let me tell you.
Oh, shit.
Okay? All right. Listen, one of the things that Netflix cut me out of was an episode of a TV series, and another person in another episode of that same TV series was Caitlyn Jenner. Now listen, all right? I don't know if you know this, but Caitlyn Jenner fucking killed someone, okay? She killed someone. She killed someone. Google it. She killed someone! And she's in the thing, and I'm not in the thing! Dude, she killed someone. She ran a dude over. That guy died. He's still dead. His family's sad, so sad. And she's in the thing, and I'm not in the thing!
This feels familiar.
Listen, we all make mistakes, but hers was murder.
Oh, yeah, we've seen this before. Wow.
And she's in the thing, and I'm not in the thing. Just make it make sense.
So this is so funny. So I've actually explained this before in a promo for this special, but knowing this in context is so much funnier now, right? Before I didn't know before this joke that Chris is a good man that loves his son, right? Before I just saw this clip out of context, I just thought he was a super great, funny comedian. But now I'm watching this with totally fresh eyes because I remember all the jokes from before about what a good guy he is.
If you're gonna cancel people, definitely cancel the murderers.
Yeah, get him.
And until then,
Me and my son, we watch Hulu.
Shameless replay. OMG, is this where that bit came from? $5 donation. Thank you so much. Yes, this bit is from the previous episode of Jokes Explained, where I explained the preview for Grow or Die. I didn't know he was going to release the whole thing on YouTube, but he's a generous man.
Yep, we're motherfucking Hulu boys. You know, honestly, Hulu's not as good as Netflix. Dude, it's... I have to be honest, it's not, dude. Netflix has some bangers, but here's why.
30 and 63. Thank you, Brian.
There's one reason why Hulu isn't as good as Netflix. There's one reason, right? And this is the reason, okay? Because 30% of the shit on Hulu has Gordon Ramsay in it. Now, it's like entirely too much Gordon Ramsay.
Big name.
If you turn on the homepage of Hulu, there's like 9 different images of Gordon Ramsay, and he's just like...
Oh, did you see this? So this was like a secret reference to the therapy thing, maybe, right? This is why it's good to watch it the same. Because Chris Delia especially, you can't watch just 10 minutes of it, right? This was a secret fast reference to the therapy cross hands. And now we know. Unbelievable stuff. There's so many layers.
Even movies. I turn on a movie on Hulu, and the main character climbs the top of a mountain, and Gordon Ramsay's up there. And it's like, would you like a steak? Like, dude. By the way, how the fuck has Gordon Ramsay not been canceled yet, for real? Like, he's a dick on 11 TV shows, and they've all been on a decade. Like, you have the footage, get him. Dude, every episode is the same. Every episode of every TV show is the same. He'll walk into someone's kitchen that isn't his, and he'll just be like, all right, who the fuck is in charge here? And then the guy in charge will come out and he'll be like, hey, it's me. And then Gordon Ramsay will like take 2 pieces of bread.
And this is a call because his son sounds just like Gordon Ramsay from the beginning. Remember the impression of his son being British? And now Gordon Ramsay's British, which is a secret tie-in to the son being British bit. You guys, this is unbelievable. I had no idea how complex.
And like put it on the guy's ears, and
this was.
And it'll be like, you're a fucking bologna sandwich, mate. Dude, and the guy will be like, you're right, I have been a bologna sandwich. Like, how's that okay? That's assault. Could you imagine if I was out there doing that? Like, for real. If I was out there, Chris Delia, if I was out putting bread on people's faces. Like, if I started doing that at 6 p.m., by 6:05, TMZ would be like,
yes.
Disgraced comedian Chris Delia resurfaces, and this time he's putting bread on people's faces.
There'll be a hashtag trending on Twitter like, we're not all bologna sandwiches. Another white guy with his privilege. I can't get canceled again. Dude, if I got canceled again, at that point I'd have to be like, fuck it, I'm trans.
Oh, big yeah.
And run someone over.
Massive joke there. Massive. Yeah, I remember this.
Sorry, I'm a woman.
Yeah, this is what people came for. A lot of people at this point, they just go to comedy shows to hear people talk about trans people. You don't even have to make a joke about it, just mention it. Because you hear so much in the news about what's going on with the trans community. It's important just to say trans, and everyone laughs because everyone's talking about it. Because you recognize the name that you've heard. And it just triggers a laugh response. Very funny stuff. Great way to tie in that whole bit there. A lot of name comedy. He kind of minimizes the reason why he was canceled a little bit there, implying Gordon Ramsay being angry at people was an equal something that people should be outraged about. But not quite the same, but it's
I know
funny
this is uncomfortable to
observation.
talk about, but fuck it, this is how I talk now, okay? I have nothing to lose.
Space Station Willie says, is trans funnier than gay? Ideally both at the same time. Ideally, I don't know that. Trans and gay are similar. I believe that like gay was most funny in the 90s. And now I think when people are making gay jokes, it's almost like a callback to the 90s when it was like peak gay is funny. Trans is kind of a new funny thing. Trans has been funny for a long time as well, but it's really having a moment, which is just so lovely. Very funny stuff. Yeah, the factoid is correct. It really isn't stand-up if we don't mention trans.
That's the thing. You can't shame somebody into being better. You can't shame someone into being the way that you think that they should be. You can't do that. Haven't you fucking seen Footloose? Those motherfuckers keep dancing, okay? They dance harder. You can't do that. If you want someone to do better, you have to let them try. It's the truth, man.
Yes.
So I took a year off, man. I took a whole year off. I did nothing but go to therapy. I worked on myself, you know. I kept my side of the street clean. And it's hard, dude. It's not linear. It's a journey. You don't fix yourself in a fucking day. It's a whole,
Yeah. Screams. Which one of you guys was the screamer in the Chris D'Elia crowd? I want to know that. Wild. He is, but it's just so good to see that he's back. Like the comedy was not the same without Chris D'Elia up there crushing it at these big theaters doing his podcast. I mean, when Chris D'Elia was hiding from when he was not going out during COVID, I didn't know. I probably laughed 11% less in my life, which is a huge reduction of laughing, which really was not good for my health, probably.
Yeah, man, I took a year off. And then I got back on stage, and people got re-mad, you know? I got back on stage, and people were just like, what the fuck are you? People were like, but I typed so fucking hard.
Yeah.
People are mad, whatever, dude. People are always gonna be mad, right? They don't want you to change, that's the truth. People are always gonna be mad. And I see that shit, man, I see it. I had to stop looking online, but I see it, you know? Like there's a guy who wrote an article the other day, and dude, he goes like this. It was like, Chris Lee is back, does anyone give a shit? Dude, and the article was basically like, are you serious? Are we gonna just let Chris Lee back? Seems like, dude, he says, seems like a layup for comedy clubs not to book Chris D'Elia. My favorite part is, he goes like this, we gotta keep comedy clubs safe from Chris D'Elia. Like, dude, what are you talking about? I'm not Voldemort, you know what I mean? Like, I'm just a guy, and I'm just trying to do better, okay?
Yes. A lot of perfect audience to say this to.
So let him.
Really, this is a comedy special, and we've laughed a lot during this journey. But he's talking about people not wanting Chris to return, which is such a funny thing. The thing is, you can't cancel people in America, right? Especially comedians. But people have a fundamental misunderstanding of why people go to comedy shows, right? People go to comedy shows to see famous people. It's not necessarily, I'd say it's 10% to laugh. 90%, they want to see someone they know, right? And they know people in America would pay to see Muammar Gaddafi just shoot the shit on stage. Because they'd be like, I remember this guy from the news. He was big in the 90s, and now I'm in the room with the guy. You know, it's just so different. People have no concept. Comedy is such a great art form that it's rarely about jokes. It encompasses so much more than just that.
Hate. I gotta phase it out, man. You know what? Because if I'm truly honest with you guys, for a year, I wanted to end my life. And that's the truth. But I didn't. I got through it because my wife held me the fuck down, okay?
What did I say, right? The threat of full-time labor, a comedian immediately thinks of suicide. Yeah, it's just they can't imagine doing 40 hours a week. They would rather die. It's sad. It's a sad thing, but they just aren't built for civilian life.
And that's what's real. And I see that shit, man. I see that shit. And here's the other thing. I know how I fucked up. I know. I'm me. I'm the one that knows what I did and what I didn't do. Me. I'm me. I'm at home with my family. I see the heartbreak on my wife's face, the shit that we have to deal with, and then she gets bullied online. I see that shit. I see my dad's face and how he aged 10 years in 2 years because of the stress, the situation in my family that I put myself in these situations, and that's why my dad's stressed out. I have to deal with that shit. Me.
Oh shit. Guys, it's getting real now, okay? Everyone in the chat, it's real now. So I hope you are everyone should have you should have your hands like this, okay? Out of respect.
And you know, thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Start a standing ovation. This is like, these people have been following Chris Delia since he did that "This Is What Drunk Girls Sound Like" act, which propelled him all the way through his father's Rolodex of contacts to huge success in show business. Loyal, humble fans.
If I'm honest, I talk a lot about fear, and that's something that
Duel?
I am fearful of. I feel like because of the situations that I put myself in and my addiction, that it's my fault that my dad...
I think he's wearing a Rolodex in reference to his father's Rolodex. I believe that's the name of the brand.
...is getting older, because he couldn't deal with the stress. And you know what? It's sad. It is. It's sad. But it's also, it's a blessing too. And what I mean is, look, we had Calvin, and he was the first grandson from my mom and dad, and they get to experience that, and that's a lovely thing, And my dad, he looks just like Calvin. It's really cute. People would always say to me growing up, "Wow, you look just like your dad." And now they say, "Calvin looks just like you." And I always thought that was cute, but I never really knew what it meant until I saw my dad and Calvin together. And that's beautiful. Now I get it. And they love playing with each other. And my dad is, my dad's getting older. I don't know how long he's going to be around. My dad's getting older. But you know what? So is Calvin. And it's sweet, man. It's bittersweet because I see the two of them together. My dad loves playing with Calvin. Calvin loves playing with my dad. And I saw them the other day on the couch together.
You guys, you hear how quiet it is in this audience, right? He's teed up. There's a lot of tension, right? He's talked about a lot of common human experiences, which is he's noticed his dad is getting older. He has a son now. It took him 42 years to notice these things, but he has noticed them, and the crowd is now starting to think about mortality as well. And so he's gonna blow this room apart with the punchline that comes. And I hope you guys are ready.
And my aging father was looking at...
It's possible he'll talk about maybe someone poops or jizzes, but it's going to be very good.
At Calvin, just playing with a truck. And my dad had a moment where he pat Calvin on the back, and he said, "You and me, buddy, we're in the same boat." And it was really sweet until I realized that my dad meant mentally. That's what he meant. My dad was making a joke, but it's true, you know? And isn't that a motherfucker? He was making a joke because he's scared of dying, and that's what I do, man. Like father, like son. But it is crazy, and it is true. Like, there is gonna be that moment where my dad and Calvin are in the same boat. They're gonna have that moment, that exact moment, where Calvin is growing and my dad is dying. And they're gonna have that exact same moment where they have the exact same mental capacity. And they're gonna look at each other and they're gonna be like, Bardar.
Wow. 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 Wow.
So look, it's sad.
Wow. You know what? Have you guys, I mean, be honest. Be honest. Have you ever, for one, thought about how we die? And have you ever even thought about how kids grow up? Like, it's actually insane that happens, right? Isn't that insane? And then he calls back to Bardar from the beginning of the thing. Hey, we got a bingo, and the desktop audio is completely off, so only I heard it in my earphones loudly. But we have a bingo here, ladies and gentlemen. Perfect timing for the end of that epic story. Showmance is the bingo master. Big congratulations to Showmance. Thank you for playing bingo. Brian, do we have any prizes for these people, or do I do a request of an explanation? I feel like I should do something. I should do something for Showmance. I should do something for the bingo winners. The reward is more bingo. 10 Bardars. We will think of something. We've saved the bingo winners. Brian has overwhelmingly won the most bingos, but Showmance, we've got your name saved. I'll think of something. Shameless replay. The glory of winning bingo is enough. Shameless replay overruling with the Supreme Court of the Super Chat, which kind of rules the laws here at Jokes Explained. So sorry about that, Showmance. But thank you to Shameless Replay for the donation.
And that's real. Real life is hard. And that's okay. I just can't shut that shit out, you know? I can't cope with it in bad ways. I have to feel those feelings. But the good thing is, my parents getting older is funny too. It is. It can be both things at the same time. Like, for instance, I'm at the point where right now getting my son in the car and getting my mom in the car is the same level of difficulty. Right? Like, at least with Calvin, I know how to do it. Like, I'm like, come on, buddy, we gotta go. And
wow, look at that. Showman's got a little live bingo shout out by the bingo machine. That's incredible.
He's like, good luck. And I just gotta grab him and strap him in sideways, right? But my mom is like a different story. I was like, when I get my mom to go, it's like she's like gotta prove she could do it by herself, but also can't, but really wants to and won't accept help, but absolutely needs help and is super aggressive to me and also yelling, okay? Like, this is how it happens every time. I'm like, Ma, we gotta go. And this is what she does. She goes like this. Okay, wait, Christopher, wait. Okay, wait, Christopher, wait.
That's a woman voice. Oh, we're not playing bingo anymore. But good to see the woman voice. Women sound like that. God, they're just annoying.
Wait, Christopher, wait, Christopher, okay, I see. Christopher, wait, Christopher, wait. And by the way, we're still near the couch. Like, we're not even outside. Christopher, wait, Christopher, wait, Christopher, wait.
You guys remember, this is like repetition. This is a repetition masterclass. So important for comedy. Saying the same thing over and over again. Very, very funny. We know it. We love it. People don't usually talk like that, but it hammers that point home.
Wait, and Calvin's already strapped in, just like, how come she doesn't know how to do this yet? Grandma, do muffins come out of your penis as well? Wait.
Muffins out of the penis. Let's call back to the beginning.
Wait, Christopher, wait, Christopher, wait. Dude, so grab the inside handle of the car. Who the fuck grabs that? That's for dry cleaning only, okay? So grab it and just lower herself. Wait, Christopher, wait, Christopher, wait, Christopher, wait, Christopher, wait.
Yes.
My favorite part is, even when she's fully extended, there's still
So what's happening psychologically here, right? As you're thinking to yourself, there's no way he's going to say wait again. And then he says it again. And then you're like, surely not. And then he does it again. And then you're like, if he does it again, this is absurd. And then this kind of builds up in your head, and then he keeps going, and it builds the funny just sort of, it's like a snowball down a mountain. And then you'll find yourself just on the floor laughing.
like a foot of space where she has to let go and hope for the best. And every time she does, she lets go, she makes eye contact with me. It's like the end of Die Hard. She's like,
Good stuff. And to Die Hard, great movie reference. Die Hard movie came out 52 years ago.
see, it's funny too. It's sad and funny, and that's okay. You just gotta feel all that shit. You could choose, grow or die.
Grow or die.
I think that's, it's, I think my favorite moment that happened in the past 3 years that has to do with that idea is, about 2 years ago, Calvin was 1. And my wife said to me, so look, I know that we live in LA and your family lives in LA, and Calvin knows your family and your mom and dad, but he hasn't met my family because of COVID. And so we have to go, to North Carolina and see my family, and go to St. Louis and meet my friends, and he can meet my family. And I was like, oh, okay. Well, first of all, I was like, you're from St. Louis? I had no idea. But then
Hey.
I was like, you know what? You're right. Fuck COVID. Let's do it. Okay? And we did. She said, I'll deal with all the itinerary. You don't even have to do anything. I was like, okay. So she booked a flight. It was a 7 p.m. flight, and that's entirely too late for a flight, but it's okay, right? Like, there's so many flights during the day, and she chose to skip those and get the one at 7 p.m., and that's fine, right? Like, even though we have a 1-year-old and he's never flown before, and that's crazy to fly with a 1-year-old over the night, but whatever, it's okay. And it has a better chance of getting delayed because of all the other flights beforehand getting delayed. And you know what? It's okay. I'm just grateful she did it. So
We got an airplane joke coming up. If you wouldn't be talking, we wouldn't be doing stand-up if it wasn't for either talking about trans people or air travel.
good, all right? So she gets the flight, it's at 7 p.m., and she says to me, look, I know that flying is stressful, and when you get stressed out, sometimes you're a piece of shit. So let's just both be each other's best friends, realize that, you use your tools, and we'll be able to make this work. So I said, okay, you're right. Thank you for saying that. So we go to the airport, and we get there. The flight's at 7 p.m. As soon as we get there, the flight's delayed by a lot, too. Like, my wife looks at the board, and we both see it. She's in front of me, and then she turns around, and she's ready. She's just, like, ready for me to lose it. But I was way ahead of her. She turned around, and I was just like, you know me, just rolling with the punches. I'm gonna go to Hudson News for a while. I'll be back.
Airplanes suck.
The flight finally arrives for us to get on, and we get on the flight, and we fly through the night to St. Louis. And who knew Calvin is a champ at flying? It was all good. Everything was great. We land in St. Louis. It's after midnight, okay? And Kristen, who got all the itinerary, was like, okay, let's go get Calvin, and we need to go to the Enterprise rental shuttle pickup. So I was like, I don't even know what that is. Like, I always get picked up by a driver, but now,
Wow, that's a humble braggy. Hey, little humble brag, private driver from the airport. But now, obviously, he's canceled, so he just has to fly and rent a car like a working stiff. Brutal. He almost killed himself.
You know, I'm a dad. I got to get a rental car and a car seat. Life's different. So I grab Calvin and I say, come on, Krista. And we go to the Enterprise rental shuttle pickup. Now, there's Avis and Hertz and Enterprise. Everybody from the flight is from Avis and Hertz, and just my family is in the Enterprise rental pickup, okay? Everybody from the airport gets picked up from Avis and Hertz in 10 minutes, and then it's just my family hanging out alone in the airport, okay? I let this go.
There's so much set up to this. There's so much going on in his stories. There's so much set up. I sometimes get lost in what is happening here, but it's gonna pay off.
For a few minutes, and then I'm like, I gotta say some shit. But I know she's ready for me to be mad. So I like play up like Mr. Nice Guy. I was like, she can't be mad if I'm so nice. So I walk up to her and I was like, hey, hey babe, are you, crazy day, right? So, it's so nuts. So are you, so when are they coming?
Look at his face. Huh? You guys, look at his, I'm gonna pause this just for you guys so you guys can all have a good laugh. Could you imagine if a person made this face in regular life? You'd be like, what a crazy, wacky guy. But, you know, and then they do it on stage and you just, oh man. So good.
Dude, she doesn't even check shit. She just kept looking at me and she goes like this, soon. And I was like, oh, but you don't know though, right?
Oh, he's upset.
A few more minutes goes by, and I'm like, we're still straight. We're the only people at the airport. So I walked up to her and I said, hey, babe, you know what? Oh, dude, I got a crazy idea. So can you check the email that you got from Enterprise to get the confirmation number? We'll figure it out. And she said, oh, Enterprise doesn't do that. And that's when I was like, but yes, they do, right? Because this is the future, okay? And that's just how it works. Like, I got a confirmation number for a fucking donut the other day. And this is a whole car. So where is it, okay? And she says, go ahead.
There's a lot of, again, more insight into the psychology of comedians and how they work. I don't know if you remember the Vince O'Shaughnesy stand-up I explained, but he's similar. Comedians often remember when they're wronged by service staff. It sticks in their brain, and they always usually make a bit about how service staff are super incompetent. That's why people like Chris, they can't be canceled, because if he had to work at the Enterprise counter or even had to think about it, he would be contemplating perhaps, ending himself rather than working at that role. Which is why he has to be on stage. He couldn't, he has to get annoyed by those people. He could not ever be one of those people.
Go ahead, see for yourself. Gives me the phone. I type in her email, Enterprise. Sure enough, Enterprise email. Under that, in the body of the email, it says the confirmation number, and under that, it says Enterprise closes at midnight, okay? So now, I'm fucking steaming. We're stranded, and I don't know if you know much about St. Louis, but it's not a great place to be stranded, bullet-wise, okay? So, yeah, I'm looking at her, and I'm like, baby, what the fuck are we gonna do?
Call back. Yeah? He's getting mad. Crowd recognizes the callback.
I look down at Calvin and he's like,
smart
you're
audience.
done. I'm like, oh really, at this point? When shit gets hard, where's your fucking haka dance now?
Haka dance. Call back to the beginning as well.
So I'm like, all right, well, what? I'm so mad. I'm like, what the fuck are we gonna do? And she says, relax, relax. You know what? We'll just get an Uber. And I said, well, what about the car seat? And she said, well, we'll just pick the option for car seat. And that's when I was like, oh, you're not a person from Earth. Like, you can't just have them bring shit they don't have. It's not like you're like, ooh, car seat, and ooh, have them bring bananas. Like, dude, it's big car, small car. But what's my other choice? I gotta have the Uber guy come. We're alone at the airport. So either the Uber guy comes, or now we like live at the airport like the fucking Tom Hanks movie or something.
Tom Hanks movie, Saving Private Ryan.
So I picked the Uber guy to come, and then I'm like, all right, I'll figure it out later when he shows up. So it takes 5 minutes, the Uber guy shows up, and he sees my family. And then he sees Calvin, and he says, oh, hey, do you guys have a car seat? And that's when I look right in his eyes, and I go like this. No. And then he said, oh, well, how old is he? And that's when I said, 5. Dude, he was 1. Do you know how stupid a 1-year-old, 5-year-old is? But what's this guy gonna tell me? He doesn't know how old my son is more than I know how old my son is. And my son is fucking 5. Do you know that if you're in an argument with someone and you both want different things, that if you just stop talking, you will get your way? Try it. Like, this dude thought that after I said my son was 5, I was gonna say more things because of how obviously not 5 my son was. But I didn't.
Kyle guessing the punchline's gonna be
I just
Bardar.
waited until he was gonna talk. It was so uncomfortable. But listen, it took like 10 seconds and I watched his whole body break down and give up. It was awesome. I said 5, and then he goes like this. All right, fuck it, let's go. And dude, we got in the car. I put Calvin in the back. Dude, have you ever seen what a 1-year-old looks like in the back seat of a car with no car seat? His feet were just out. I put the safety belt on, it went over his face. He was trying to talk, he was like, Bardar. I was like, you can't even say your own word.
Bardar. Oh.
What happened next is 100% true, okay? 10 minutes into the ride, my son shit his diaper. And he blew up the car. Like, you know when, like, you think you smell someone shit their pants? And you're like, is that shit? Did someone shit? Is that what that is? It was not like that. It was like when you're like, oh, someone shit. Like, it was so obvious. Yeah, dude, and I thought at this point the jig is up. Like, we were gonna get thrown out on the side of the road because what 5-year-old shits their pants?
Okay, can you just acknowledge how the crowd is in a fervor? They're in a froth. He's frothed them up. You know, anyone else, if I were to go over the bullet points of this story, like a normal person just telling a story, be like, hey, I took a flight was delayed, super annoying, got to the airport, rental car's messed up, I'm annoyed, no confirmation code, enterprise lady, such a fucking annoying bitch, and then we just got in the car and I lied about my son's age. Not that funny of a story. But when you add like you add the eyebrows and you add callbacks like Bardar and the rub, the audience is absolutely frothing. They're probably on an almost hysterical level here. This punchline at the end is going to blow you away.
But luckily, I thought quickly, and I leaned in and I said, I'm sorry, sir, my wife farted. And you know what? I had Calvin's back. So say what you want about me, but I'm a good dad. Thank you very much.
My wife farted. You guys. Oh. And that's the end. Oh my God. Just, okay. First of all, farting, funny. My wife's annoying, funny. It doesn't get better than that. Plus, it's a misdirect because he's, and 4 comes back to the circles back to the beginning, which is he's a good father who helps his son out. Oh my God! Let the applause roll in here. Let him. Oh baby. Oh my God. Chris is back. He's back, baby. He poured his soul out for this one. He has grown and not died. Big theater, full of people that remember him from the Drunk Girls Act Like This bit. Oh man. Oh, what a fantastic special. You guys. What an honor. What an honor to explain that. What an honor to see the rebirth of a comedian from the ashes of a guy who was simply wealthy to a guy who's beloved and wealthy. He fought the haters. He came back. He, with the threat of employment at a regular job, almost decided to take himself out, but worked with a therapist every single day to realize that people get old and die, and children are loved by their parents. And once he started to realize these fundamental truths about life, it took him a while. But he was cursed with massive success at a young age, which is a total disaster. As you've seen in the news, it's not great. There's probably nothing worse than being financially well off from a young age. It just turns you into a total animal. You don't understand the facts of life and how to enjoy things like that. So big congrats to Chris. Such a good special. King Shaman says that comedy special was so good. I say we just let him off the hook for all the stuff in the past and just accept him back into the mainstream. Who's with me? I'm with you. I think we give Chris... you know what I say? Golden Globes host 2026, Chris Delia. And 2027, Golden Globes host Russell Brand. I think we do it. I think we let him back. I think that when they've grown, they've learned. There's no, this is the thing too. It's like when you cancel a comedian like Chris D'Elia, where are you going to find a comic of that talent to replace him? He's a once in a generation guy. You're not going to just, there's literally, how many comedians have big podcasts? And that's, what we're talking about is comedians who have big podcasts. You have to find one of them to replace him. And there's just none. There's none. A comedian like that is only born every 1,000 years. So you can't be canceling comedians. There's only so many great comics alive today. You got to let them have a second chance. Everybody makes mistakes. And he's a great dad. He's a great dad, great comedian, wonderful special. I'm glad that the stream didn't get taken down on YouTube. We're still up on Twitch. Thank you all so much for watching. That was a very informative time. Please check out our Patreon for extra content. You can join for free to watch all our other stuff that's been demonetized on YouTube but is accessible and not blocked on our Patreon. Join our Discord. Thank you so much. Special shout out to our fat stacks of donations for this stream. Redactoid throwing huge chunks of cash down there. Cursing user with $20 donation as well. Thank you guys so much, and everybody else who donated. You're the wind beneath my joke explainer wings, and you keep this stream afloat. You keep me healthy. If it wasn't for your donations, I was sick on Monday, but I was able to go see a shaman healer recommended by Russell Brand, and once they rubbed the ointment on the back of my knees, I immediately felt so much better. So thank you so much. And Showmance, big congratulations for winning bingo. You'll go on our bingo winners list, and we'll see. We'll see what we do with that. We got to make a plan. Speaking of plans, please join us in the post-stream Patreon stream that is going to be taking place immediately after I end this stream. Brian will be joining me via audio because he does not want to come to this house of sickness because he's a total wuss and would probably wear a mask like one of those blue-haired Trader Joe's liberals. So he's just going to be on audio. And you guys can ask us some questions. We'll talk about some plans we have. And once again, thank you so much. Please Shameless replay with more money at the very last second, tossing it under the door as it closes. Shameless replay. Make sure you go buy Brian a small fry when you go to McDonald's. I will buy him a small fries. In fact, Dairy Queen might be the fast food restaurant of choice for Brian, because it's very accessible where we live. Anyway, I'm gonna sign off now. Get the countdown music going. Thank you so much for joining us on the stream. We're gonna be back again on Monday at the latest to see you for the Rumble Explained stream. But for now, it's off to Patreon. So hopefully see some of you there. For the rest of you, thanks for watching. Grow or die. Never forget.